In my past life, I traded one hand for by Rant's smooth and unobstructed life. She became a nationally renowned painter. I became a useless person who couldn't even hold chopsticks steadily. Decades later, in the intensive care unit, her last words were, "Lu Yen, if I could do it over, I wouldn't choose you." On the first day after being reborn, she asked me to help her move the picture frame. I slipped my hands into my pockets. No, my hands are cold. The air filter in the intensive care unit hummed softly. Byran had become so thin that her form was barely recognizable, her collarbones protruding beneath a thin layer of skin, her hands covered in needle marks. "Lu Yen, I'm here," I replied softly. Her hazy eyes gazed at the ceiling, as if seeing through the white wall into a distant past. "You say, was my life quite glorious?" I didn't respond. "Scenery." She held her solo exhibition at 28, won an international award at 35, and had her work collected by the National Art Gallery at 40. Quite the impressive achievements. The cost is these hands of mine. 26 years ago, during that fire, I rushed into her studio and carried out each of her exhibition pieces one by one. When the steel beam came crashing down, I instinctively tried to brace myself with my hands. My right hand suffered a comminuted fracture, and 3 tendons in my left hand were severed. I studied architectural design, an architect who can't hold a pen or grip a mouse. Funny. I think it's quite funny. Rant's eyes slowly closed, then struggled open again. "Lu Yen, if I could start over." She gasped for breath. "I wouldn't choose you." The lines on the heart monitor began to jump erratically. Nurses rushed in. I stood in the corner, watching a group of people bustling around her. The bright white light from the surgical lamp shone on my face. Her last words kept echoing in my ears. "I won't choose you. I won't choose you." Okay. I closed my eyes. When I opened my eyes again, the ceiling had changed. Yellowed wall paint, a single exposed wire stretched across it, and in the corner hung a faded poster of Jay Chou's Chopin in November. My college dorm room. My phone vibrated beside my pillow, and when I picked it up, September 12th, 2014, junior year. That fire happened during the second semester of junior year. It was still 6 months away from now. I stared at the phone screen for a full 3 minutes. Then I turned over and pulled the blanket over my head. I cursed. Not excitement, not surprise, just pure heartfelt. Again, the door was kicked open. "Yenga, get up, get up." Fong Su rushed in holding his phone. "Senior Byran wants you to help her move the picture frames. She's setting up her exhibition today and needs extra hands." Fong Su is my roommate and a close friend who loves to tease. His words are sharper than a knife, but he's reliable when it matters most. In my previous life, he was the only one who came to see me every day after my hands were crippled. Hurry up, the senior specifically called for you." "What a privilege." TSK. Fong Su winked with a lecherous expression. I sat up. I looked at my hands. 10 fingers, nimble and intact. Knuckles distinct, bones well proportioned, a pair of hands capable of drawing blueprints, making models, and typing on keyboards. I tucked my hands into my pockets. "I'm not going." Fong Su's expression froze. "What? Not going? What did you say?" "My hands are cold." Fong Su glared at me, his gaze as if what I just said wasn't "I'm not going." "But I'm going to become a monk." "You, Lu Yen, are you serious?" "That's Senior Byran. You've been chasing after her for a year and a half. Last week you even carried a 40-caddy Candace up to the 6th floor for her." 40 caddies. 6th floor. No elevator. So my arm still hurts today. I put on my coat, picked up the bread from the table, and took a bite. "Tell her for me. I can't make it today." Something came up. Fong Su chased me out and grabbed the back of my collar. "Lu Yen, are you possessed? You're not suffering from some terminal illness, are you? The kind where you only have 3 months left. You're the one with a terminal illness." I pushed his hand away and went downstairs. On the autumn campus, the ginkgo leaves were just beginning to turn yellow. I was walking down the road, hands in my pockets, my steps much slower than usual, no longer in a hurry. In my previous life, by this time I would have already reached the art building, panting heavily, Sweating profusely, I helped Byron move more than 20 painting frames from the storage room to the exhibition hall. After moving, Byron said, "Thank you," just one sentence, then turned around and discussed composition with Gu Qingza for half an hour. Gu Qingza. Thinking of that name, the bread in my mouth suddenly lost its flavor. He was a prominent figure in the art department. His family owned a gallery. He was generous with his spending. And he was indeed quite good-looking. In my past life, he was always hovering around Byron. At the time, I comforted myself they were just classmates, just discussing their major. We were talking about work until he sent flowers to my hospital room. And I didn't even suspect a thing. Being young is great. Being young is stupid. My phone vibrated. Byron's message. Luyen. Fan Su said you have something to do and can't make it. What is it? There are quite a few picture frames. And I can't move them alone. I stared at the screen. In my past life, I would have replied instantly. Says, "Wait for me 5 minutes. I'll be right there." Would take off running. And now, I put my phone back in my pocket. Entered the cafeteria. The cafeteria auntie saw me coming alone and asked, "Young man, aren't you going to the art building today?" Even the cafeteria auntie knows I run to the art building every day. I smiled. I feel like having sweet and sour pork ribs today. 2 orders, please. I sat alone by the window, slowly chewing on the ribs. My phone vibrated again. Fan Su's message. "Bro. What's wrong with you? Senior Byron sent you a message. And you didn't reply. Have you been kidnapped? Send me your location, and I'll come rescue you." I replied with one word. Eating. 3 seconds later, Fan Su exploded. "Eat. You're eating. Senior Byron is waiting for you over there and you're eating. Luyen, are you crazy?" I took a bite of the pork rib and chewed it. The bone was crispy and crunchy. Pretty good. In my previous life, I often didn't have time to eat because I was rushing to help Byron. That's when my stomach problems started. They stayed with me for a lifetime. In this lifetime, I want to eat well. After finishing the ribs, I scooped another bowl of soup, drank it, wiped my mouth, and leaned back in my chair feeling content. My phone fell silent. I guess Byron found someone else to help. Who are you looking for? Most likely Gusinza. In my previous life, Gusinza would always show up at times like this, filling every gap whenever I wasn't around. Whatever. It has nothing to do with me anymore. I stood up holding my tray. The ginkgo tree outside the window swayed slightly. A leaf stuck to the glass. I suddenly remembered Byron's words in the hospital at the end of my previous life. If I could do it all over again, I wouldn't choose you. Fine. Isn't this a doer? This time, I won't choose you either, even for the next 3 days. My phone was almost bombed into a brick by Fan Su. He used 17 question marks, 9 exclamation marks, 3 voice messages, and a crying emoji to question me why I was ruining my future. I replied uniformly, "At the library. That's no excuse. I really am at the library." In my previous life, I half-heartedly completed my junior year course project because I spent all my time running errands for Byron. The title of that design was a community renovation plan for an old industrial area in a city. I casually sketched something at the time. My supervisor Wang Zhenghua gave me 61 ts, barely passing. Later, after losing the use of my hand, this became one of the biggest regrets in my life. Not because of the low score. It's because I actually have a complete idea in my mind for that proposal. A very good idea. I just didn't have the time to draw it out. Now I have it. I claimed a window-side seat at the library, spread out my blueprints, and began to draw. With a flick of the wrist, my brush landed precisely on the paper. This feeling, the fingers obeying, the lines flowing smoothly, the thoughts in my mind perfectly rendered onto paper. I lost 26 years of it in my previous life. Exactly 26 years. I drew all day, only going to the cafeteria at noon to eat a bowl of noodles. In the evening, Fang Su found me. He stood at the library entrance, arms crossed, with a look on his face like he was about to interrogate a criminal. "Luyen. Yeah. Did you have a fight with Byron?" "No." "Then why haven't you gone to see her for 3 days? Why should I go see her?" Fang Su choked up for a moment. "You've been pursuing her for a year and a half. I'm tired of chasing. I rolled up the blueprint and tucked it under my arm. Come on, let's eat. Fong Su followed behind me, his mouth hanging open. Tired of chasing. That's all you have to say. What did you tell me earlier? You said Byran was the most spirited girl you'd ever met. That her eyes lit up when she drew. Now my eyes are lit up. I shook the blueprint in my hand. My own light. Fong Su fell silent. He looked at me, and the worry in his eyes slowly turned into something else. Are you serious? What do you think? He fell silent for another 3 seconds. Then he slapped me on the shoulder. Okay, then I'll treat you to barbecue. You're treating. I've known you for 3 years, and you've never treated me to a meal. Next time for sure. I glare at him. He said the same thing in my past life. After 30 years of next time for sure. I never got that barbecue before I died. All right, my treat. At the barbecue stall, Fong Su started feeling tipsy after downing 2 bottles of beer. Honestly, I think you've come to your senses, he mumbled while chewing on a lamb skewer. Byran is a good person, no doubt, but how should I put it? Go on. She treats your efforts like air. I picked up a pair of chopsticks with some peanuts. Didn't say anything. Do you remember the last time her art exhibition opened? You helped her decorate all day, but during the group photo, she pushed you out of the frame. Remember? Of course I remember. And the time before that, when she was preparing for the competition and needed to submit her work. You stayed up 3 nights straight helping her adjust the color scheme. She won the award, and in her acceptance speech, she mentioned Gu Qingxia but not you. Fong Su's voice dropped. I wanted to say it at the time, but you were too worked up back then. Even if I had spoken, you wouldn't have listened. I picked up my beer. Now I'm listening. Fong Su and I clinked glasses. The next day was the weekend. I was in the dormitory revising the blueprints when there was a knock at the door. I opened the door to find a middle-aged woman standing outside wearing a mink coat and sporting big wavy curls. Byran's mother, Chen Kaifeng. I was all too familiar with this woman in my previous life. The way she looked at me always carried a hint of disdain, as if saying, why hasn't this poor guy disappeared yet? After marriage, it got even worse. Every time you come to my house, you have to make sarcastic remarks. Why are you still living in such a small place? Byran is suffering with you. Look at Gu Qingxia. He just got a new Porsche. Lu Yan. Chen Kaifeng glanced at the dormitory behind me, her lips curling downward. Byran said you haven't been to see her these past few days. Chim. What do you mean? You've been chasing my daughter for so long, and now you're tired of it. I leaned against the doorframe, not letting her in. Auntie, Byran is an independent adult. Even if I don't go to her, she won't be unable to live. Chen Kaifeng's expression changed. What kind of attitude is that? Normal attitude. You auntie. I still need to revise the drawings. Let's talk later. I stepped back and closed the door. Outside the door, Chen Kaifeng's high heels stomped twice on the ground. Then came the sound of footsteps fading away. Fong Su poked his head out from the top bunk. Damn. For big characters were written all over his face. I witnessed history. Did you just lock Byran's mom out? Chim. You're really not going to chase after her. Chim. Then what are you planning to do now? I unfolded the drawings and spread them on the table. Finish this design and submit it to the Dream Builder Cup. The Dream Builder Cup is a national architecture competition for college students. Highly prestigious. In my previous life, I didn't participate because during that period, it happened to be the preparation phase for Byran's graduation project. She needed someone to help her run errands for art supplies, contact venues, and handle various chores. That person was naturally me. This lifetime, she can go ask Gu Qingzhe for help in this lifetime. After all, he has a car, money, and time. I picked up the pen and continued drawing. Fong Su lay on the upper bunk, resting his chin on the railing, and watched me for a while. Lu Yan. Have you been reborn? The tip of the brush paused on the paper. I looked up at him. His face was full of seriousness. 3 seconds later, he couldn't hold it in anymore and burst into laughter. Just kidding. But you really have changed a lot. Like a completely different person. People have to grow up. All right, then treat me to hot pot when you grow up. Get lost. Time passed day by day. My plan is gradually taking shape. From the floor plan to the elevation. From the structure to the landscape. Every stroke is something I've been brewing in my mind for 26 years in my previous life. Lying in the hospital with my right arm in a cast and my left hand wrapped in bandages. The thing I thought about most while staring at the ceiling was, if I had finished that plan back then, what would it have looked like? Thought about it for 26 years. Now it looks like this. I'm quite satisfied. Meanwhile, I hardly replied to the messages from Byran. Not intentionally giving the cold shoulder. Really busy. Also realized and won't to think about it anymore. Those memories from my past life. The parts about Byran. I've gone over and over them for decades. Every frame is crystal clear. Clear to the point of nausea. Do you know that feeling? When you spend half your life loving someone, only for her to tell you in the end, you're not worth it. Hearing that once is enough. March 14th, 2015. White Valentine's Day. It was also the day of that fire in my previous life. I remember every detail clearly. At 2:17 in the afternoon, the aging electrical circuit in Byran's studio short-circuited, and the fire started from the power strip in the corner. At that time, her graduation project's 6 large oil paintings were all in the studio when the firefighters arrived. Half of the studio was already on fire. In my previous life, I don't know where the courage came from, but I rushed in. Flames licked my hair. Thick smoke made my eyes water. And I ran out my paintings. I made 4 trips. On the 5th trip, the steel beam fell. I instinctively pushed upward with both hands. And then there was nothing after that. 5 out of the 6 paintings were saved. My hands are ruined. Byran's graduation exhibition was a success. Her work caught the eye of industry leaders. And from then on, her career soared. As for me, I dropped out, recovered from my injuries, and became her assistant for a lifetime. If you asked me whether I regret it or not, in my previous life, I would have said I don't regret it. But now, this morning, I sat in my dormitory, gazing at the sun outside the window, feeling an unusual sense of peace within. No regrets, no expectations, just not going. Fan Su was lying on the table playing games when his phone suddenly popped up a message. Hey, Senior Byran said in the group that there's an issue with the circuit in her art studio, and she's looking for someone to check it out. I lowered my head and continued drawing. Fan Su glanced at me. Aren't you going? Why go? The school has maintenance services. Just report it for repair. That's true. In her previous life, Byran never reported it for repair. She thought the maintenance was too slow and couldn't wait. So, I just made do with it. Then it caught fire. I hesitated for a moment, clenched my hand in my pocket. If I don't remind her, the fire will still break out. The painting will still be ruined. But this time, no one will rush in to save her. Her graduation project will be completely wasted. She would start several years later. She might even take a completely different path. I held the pen, my fingertips turning white. Then I picked up my phone, sent a message to Byran. School logistics phone, 655-27890. Don't delay the electrical circuit issue in the art studio. Report it early for peace of mind. After sending it, I tossed my phone aside. This was the last thing I could do. The reminder was given properly. Whether she listens or not is her business. 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm drawing pictures at the library. Fong Su's phone call came in. Lu Yen, the art building is on fire. The pen in my hand stopped. It's the floor with Byran's studio. The fire trucks are already here. I closed my eyes. She didn't report the repair. Or maybe she did. But the logistics team didn't make it in time. Anyway, the fire still happened. At this moment in my previous life, I had already rushed in. In this life, I opened my eyes and looked at my hands. 10 fingers, clean and intact. Where is he? Has Byran come out yet? He's out. He's out. He's fine. It's just the painting. As long as he's okay. I hung up the phone. Pick up the pen again. My hand is shaking a little. I took a deep breath. Calm down. Keep drawing. The lines fall onto the paper one by one. Very steady. Excellent. The news exploded in the evening. School group, UPS, grade groups, All kinds of messages flooded in. The art building studio caught fire, and Senior Byran's 6 oil paintings for her graduation project were all destroyed. Byran cried terribly. 6 months of hard work, all gone. The comment section is filled with regret. Some say it's a pity. Some say it's fortunate that no one was hurt. Some people said, "Where's Lu Yen? Doesn't he follow Senior Byran around every day? Why hasn't he shown up now?" I looked at this comment, smiled slightly. Yes, in my previous life, I appeared. The cost was a lifetime. In this life, I choose not to appear. The phone vibrated again. A message from Byran. "Lu Yen, where are you? All my paintings have burned." 10 minutes later. "Lu Yen, half an hour later. Are you angry with me? I don't know what's been going on with you lately." I stared at these messages for a long time. Then I typed a line of text. "If the drawing is gone, you can redraw it. Be careful." After sending it, I set my phone to silent mode. When Fong Su returned to the dormitory, his expression was very complicated. "Aren't you going to see her? As long as she's fine." "But Fan Su," I called his name. "Are those paintings worth risking one's life to rush into a fire to save?" Fan Su was taken aback for a moment. "Of course not. Paintings aren't people. That settles it." He opened his mouth, then swallowed the words that had reached his lips. After a moment, he said something I hadn't expected. "Actually, I saw the repair reminder you sent her today. I didn't say anything. You still care. It's just that the way you care has changed." I pulled the blanket over my head. "Don't get sentimental. I'll treat you to a chicken leg tomorrow." "Really? Fake." I knew it. The next day, a message exploded on the school forum. The title was "Art Building Fire Investigation Results. Preliminary Determination of Arson." I was chewing a bun and almost choked. Arson. In the previous life, this incident was not identified as man-made, and the school ultimately attributed it to aging circuits. Because in my previous life, I rushed in to save the paintings. The scene was compromised, making it difficult for the fire department to collect evidence. In this life, no one rushed in. The scene remained intact. Evidence has been preserved. I slowly put down the bun and clicked on the post. Firefighters discovered traces of accelerant near the point of ignition. The possibility of a natural fire has been clearly ruled out. Someone set fire to Byran and studio. The comment section under the post has gone crazy. Who did this? How could anyone be so malicious? Destroying someone's graduation project, what's the difference between that and murder? There's a mole inside. I stared at the screen, a cold sweat breaking out on my back. In my previous life, this fire wasn't an accident. Did someone intentionally burn Byran's painting? Then my pair of hands. Not only were they wasted, I also took the blame for the arsonist. The news of the arson caused an uproar throughout the entire art department. A flood of comfort and support poured in under Byran's social media posts. Gu Xingze was the first to speak up, posting a lengthy message on his moments. "Seeing what Byran has gone through is heartbreaking. I've already contacted our family's legal team, and we will definitely help her get to the bottom of this." The accompanying photo showed him from the side, gently holding Byron's shoulder, bathed in warm light with a carefully composed shot. The speed of posting on social media is faster than the fire department responding to an emergency. Fong Su showed his phone right in front of my face. "Take a look at this. TSK. I glanced at it, showing no expression. Gu Chengze was exactly the same in his previous life. Every time Byran got into trouble, he was always the first to show up, the first to speak, the first to play the knight. And me, the one who rushed into the fire, wasn't even mentioned by name online. Don't you think his timing is too perfect?" Fong Su sipped his milk tea. "Whenever Byran is in trouble, he shows up. It's like he's equipped with GPS." I glanced at Fong Su. This guy usually seems careless, but his intuition is quite sharp. In my previous life, I never doubted Gu Chengze. Firstly, I thought he genuinely cared about Byran. Secondly, feel inferior. A poor student with a crippled hand. What right do I have to question a rich second-generation heir whose family owns an art gallery? But now it's different. I've lived 2 lifetimes. In this lifetime, the fire scene was not compromised. and evidence of accelerants was found. Someone set the fire intentionally. Who? I, I don't have an answer for now, but I kept this matter in mind. At noon, I went to the cafeteria to eat. I found a corner seat, and as soon as I sat down, the figure drifted over and sat opposite me. Byran. Her eyes were red and the tip of her nose was red, too. Her hair was casually tied into a ponytail, a far cry from her usual polished appearance. Luyen. She sat opposite me, twisting a tissue in her fingers. All my paintings are burned. I know. The police said someone set the fire. I know that, too. She raised her eyes to look at me. Why haven't you come to see me at all? This question, in her past life, she had never asked because in her past life, she didn't need to ask. I was always there. Byran. I'm not your firefighter. She froze. The painting was burned and the police are handling it. If you're upset, you have friends and family. You don't need me. But look, didn't Gu Chengza already help you contact a lawyer? Her lips moved, but no words came out. I picked up my rice bowl. Eat more. Don't go hungry. If the painting is gone, you can paint it again. Your hands are still here. As I finished saying this, I paused for a moment myself. My hand is still there. What wonderful 3 words. After Byran left, Fong Su darted over from the nearby table. What you just said was absolutely brilliant. Where is it amazing? Just that I'm not your firefighter. He gave a thumbs up. The famous quote should be engraved on a stone tablet. First entry in Lu Yan's quotations. Cut it out. Seriously, you look much more handsome now than before. Can being handsome put food on the table? Can if you treat me? How many times have you mooched off me today? 3 times. But next time, I'll definitely treat you. I'll definitely do it next time. He said for 30 years in his last life. I don't believe it anymore, but I still gave him an extra chicken drumstick. With no classes in the afternoon, I stayed in the studio and continued working on the proposal. The phone vibrated once. It was an unfamiliar number. Hello, is this Lu Yan? I'm Professor Zhang Yuan from the School of Architecture. Teacher Wang Zhengwu recommended you. I heard you're working on a renovation plan for an old industrial district. I was taken aback for a moment. Wang Zhengwu was my course design advisor in my previous life. He gave me a score of 61 and wrote in the comments the student has ideas but lacks diligence. Pity. In this life, he saw my draft. Yes, Professor Zhang. Bring it over when you have time. I'm really interested in this topic. After hanging up the phone, I sat in the chair and spaced out for a while. In my previous life, such an opportunity never came. It's not because I lack the ability. It's because all my time and energy have been poured into an effort that yields no visible return. On my way back to the dorm at night, I passed by a barbecue stall. Fong Su pulled me to sit down. Today's on me. I was stunned. Did the sun rise from the north? Cut the crap. He ordered 2 skewers, a plate of peanuts, and 2 bottles of beer. Let's talk about something serious. He lowered his voice. About the arson case. Don't you think something's off? What's off about it? I went around the art building this afternoon and chatted with a few art department students. Guess what? Go on. Byran's studio had its lock changed just last week. There are only 3 keys to the new lock. 1 for Byran herself, 1 for the college office, and a spare in Gu Cheng's hands. I stopped my chopsticks. How do you know that? A junior from the art department told me. She said Gu Chengza helped Byran renovate the studio last semester and kept a spare key. Fong Su looked at me. You tell me, why would someone keep a spare key to someone else's studio? I didn't say anything. The beer tasted bitter as it went down. I never knew about this in my past life, because I was too busy in my past life, busy being a tool, busy running errands for Byran, busy being a transparent shadow under her spotlight. No one ever told me these things. Or maybe someone did, but I didn't listen. You're overthinking it. Having a key doesn't mean you set the fire. I said, I know, but something about this just feels off. Fong Su took a sip of wine. Tell me, what if the arsonist was Gu Chengza? Do you have proof? No. Then don't talk nonsense. All right, I won't say anything. Fong Su muttered with the skewer in his mouth. Anyway, I just can't stand that kid. I didn't respond. But Fong Su's words kept spinning in my mind all night. Gu Qingze has the key. On the day of the fire, he arrived immediately, posted on moments faster than anyone else. The legal team said just hire them. Being this kind-hearted, either you're genuinely good, or else he needs everyone to think well of him. For the next month, I buried myself in the proposal. After Professor Jiang Yuan reviewed my draft, he remained silent for a long time. That day, the light in his office was on, and outside the window was a gray, overcast sky. He turned page after page, his fingers slowly tracing over the drawings. This plan. Did you do it yourself? Yes. A third-year student. Yes. He took off his glasses and rubbed the bridge of his nose. Your sense of space and structural logic is stronger than several graduate students I've supervised. When Wang Jiangwu told me you had ideas, I thought he was just bragging. He put his glasses back on. The deadline for the Jumen Cup is the 15th of next month. Can you finish it? Yes. I'll write you a recommendation. By the time I left Professor Jiang Yuan's office, it was already dark outside. The streetlight cast a long shadow. I stand on the steps of the teaching building, looking down at my hands. These hands, they have drawn blueprints, sharpened pencil leads, and pressed shortcut keys in their previous life. They were crushed by steel beams, bones protruding from their flesh, blood streaming down their arms. The doctor said the surgery lasted 12 hours, and it was already a miracle that the finger shapes were preserved. As for functionality, don't even think about it. When Bairan came to visit me in the ward, she brought a bouquet of flowers. She said, "Thank you, Lu Yen. Those paintings mean so much to me." Then she left. The bouquet wilted after just 3 days in the ward. No one changed the water. I clenched my fist. My fingers bent and stretched flexibly. This time, I used these hands to draw my future. The day I finished the proposal, Fan Su helped me print out the complete set of drawings. He squatted at the print shop for 2 hours and came out with ink all over his face. "Lu Yen, do you really need this many drawings? 37 pages. Are you making a proposal or writing a thesis? Striving for perfection. If you had put this much effort into running errands for Bairan before, you would have gotten into graduate school early." I had no comeback to that, because he was telling the truth. The day the preliminary results for the Dream Builder Cup were announced, I was having lunch in the cafeteria. Fan Su rushed in so fast he could have qualified for the Olympic 100-meter final. He plopped down opposite me and shoved his phone in my face. "Read it yourself." On the screen was an announcement from the competition's official website. Preliminary list for the Dream Building Cup National College Student Architectural Design Competition. My name is on the list, the only undergraduate student selected from the entire university. All other selected Part 1. Stipends are exclusively graduate students and doctoral candidates. Damn, Yana, you're awesome. Fong Su slapped the table so hard the bowls jumped. You're the only undergraduate in the whole school. Do you know how crazy the architecture department is going? When Jiang Wo was pacing around his office 18 laps, I counted. I picked up a bite of food. Chem. Just him. Can't you get a little excited? Chem. You did that on purpose, right? The news spread much faster than I expected. By the afternoon, someone had already posted on the school forum. Lu Yen from the architecture department, a junior, has made it to the finals of the Dream Builder Cup. The only undergraduate in the entire school. Big shot appears. The comment section has a unique vibe. Lu Yen. The Lu Yen who always follows Senior Bairan around. Isn't he just an art department flunky? Turns out he's from architecture. Does anyone know this person's background? How come I've never heard of him before? Fong Su sent me screenshots of these comments. After reading them, I put down my phone. In my previous life, no one knew who Lu Yen was. Everyone only knows there's a pushover by Bairan's side. They don't even know which department he's from. In this lifetime, someone finally found out. Not because I was standing behind someone, because I stood up. In the evening, I received an unexpected message. It was from Bairan. Lu Yen, congratulations on being shortlisted for the Dream Builder Cup. I didn't know you were doing architectural design. You never told me. I stared at the message. Never told you. I did tell you. when you were in your second year. You were drawing in the studio until the early hours of the morning, and I brought you late-night snacks. You listened to my concept for the project while you eat. I talked for half an hour. You say, "Shm. Sounds good. Pass me that tube of cobalt blue." I pass over the cobalt blue, and then never mentioned it again because you weren't interested. To you, my value was just moving frames, buying art supplies, and delivering late-night snacks. Architectural design. What's that? Can it help you mix colors? I type 4 words. Thank you. Busy. Sent. The Dream Building Cup finals were held in the provincial capital. Professor Jiang took me there personally. On the day of departure, Fan susong me off at the school gate, his expression almost like bidding farewell to a warrior heading into battle. Brother Yen, remember, you're the pride of our dormitory. You're the hope of all undergraduates in the school. You are all right. I'm just going to a competition, not heading to the execution ground. Note, don't be nervous during the defense. When the judges ask you questions, just pretend they're farting you. Just pretend I'm talking to you. Relax. I'm never relaxed when you talk. Get lost. The finals process won't be elaborated. My love for architecture never disappeared in my past life. It was just buried for 26 years. I've laid in bed, sat in a wheelchair, and stood behind by Ran, repeatedly envisioning those design plans in my mind. Every detail I've thought about 1,000 times. Now I'm just drawing them out. During the defense, the judge asked a sharp question. Your proposal involves the functional replacement of communities in old industrial zones. But you seem to be overly idealistic. Do you think this kind of transformation is feasible in practice? In my previous life, I would have been nervous and stumbled over my words. In this life, I've lived in society for decades. I've seen the faces of clients, witnessed disputes over demolition, encountered holdouts, unfinished buildings, and bureaucratic red tape. Professor, every functional zone in this plan is based on data from my field research. I visited 3 similar industrial zones and talked to local residents. They don't want landmark buildings, but stone benches beside the vegetable market, south-facing walls to bask in winter sun, and walking paths where their grandchildren can run laps after school. I flipped to a page in the plan. Here, I've converted the abandoned boiler room into a community canteen. The reason is simple. Residents in this old industrial area have an average age of 57 and 30% are elderly living alone. They need a place where they can have hot meals and see people. The judges fell silent for a few seconds. Then they wrote something down in their notebooks. When the results came out, Professor Jiang Yuan was even more excited than I was. First prize, national first prize, the youngest winner of the entire event. Professor Jiang Yuan shook my hand vigorously in the corridor. Good kid. I wasn't wrong about you. He shook me so hard my head was swaying. But something was indeed rising inside me. Not pride. It's a kind of delay that's 26 years overdue. Fulfillment. No sentimentality allowed. In short, it's quite good. When the news reached the school, caused quite a stir. The dean personally called to offer congratulations. The school newspaper is coming for an interview. Even 2 design companies sent internship invitations. Fong Su posted a message in the WeChat group. My roommate Lu Yen won the first prize in the National Dream Be Yielding Cup. Today, the whole dorm is having hot pot to celebrate and he's treating us.
Isena Rapli.
Who's treating? You are. You won the award. You said you'd treat next time. Didn't you have good news first? Next time for sure. 30 years of next time for sure. I give up. The day I returned to school, as I stepped out of the gate, I bumped into someone. Dian, white dye. She stood under the streetlight holding a paper bag in her hand. Lu Yen. Shem. Congratulations on your award. She handed me the paper bag. This is a pen. I notice you often use a pen for sketching and yours probably needs replacing. I took it and opened it for a look. It was a nice pen, not cheap. In my past life, Byran never gave me anything, not even on my birthday. What date is my birthday? She might never know in the end. Thank you, Lu Yen. Shem. She stood there, the streetlight shining on her face. Have you been avoiding me lately? No. Then why don't you reply to my messages? Why don't you come see me anymore? You used to. That was then. I held the paper bag properly. Byran, have you redrawn your painting? She was taken aback. Not yet. I haven't adjusted my stake yet. It's better to start early. The graduation exhibition won't wait for anyone. I glanced at my watch. I'm heading out first. Fang Shu is still waiting for me to treat him. I took a few steps, then paused. Byran, be careful who you give the key to your studio to. Her expression changed. What do you mean? I didn't answer and walked away. Behind me was her gaze. Hot, confused, with a hint of panic she never felt before in her previous life. This kind of gaze had never appeared on her face because in her previous life, she never needed to panic. I'm always here, not here anymore. She panicked. Hard to describe the feeling. Not happy, but not sad either. Let it be. The investigation into the arson case is progressing slowly. Police said the evidence chain is still incomplete and they are further screening suspects. But the atmosphere at school has already changed. Byran's ordeal combined with my award made many people start reevaluating certain things. For example, what kind of person is Lu Yen really? For example, why did he always act as Byran's sidekick before? For example, has he actually had the ability all along, only to have been held back? Someone posted on the forum with a particularly sarcastic title. Lu Yen, the architectural genius held back by his white moonlight. When Fang Shu sent me the screenshot, he was laughing like a goose. Brother Yen, you've become an internet celebrity. What influencer? Delete it. Can't delete it. There are already over 300 replies. I opened the post and skimmed through it. Most of the comments were friendly teasing, but one comment stood out. It's best for Lu Yen to stay away from Byran. That kind of woman is like a bloodsucker. Strains people dry and still doesn't know how to be grateful. There were over 100 replies underneath, and the discussion had turned into a heated argument. Some defended Byran, some spoke up for me, and others were just there for the drama. I turned off my phone. The more you explain, the messier it gets. It's best to let it die down naturally. However, things didn't settle. Instead, they blew up. The cause was Gu Qingshan. He left a comment under Byran's social media posts. Some people chased after someone for a year and a half without success, and now they're playing the game of playing hard to get. It's truly disgusting. I hope certain people can recognize their own status and not use the banner of being yourself to exploit others' emotions. When Fang Su saw this, beer shot straight out of his nose. Is he talking about you? Who else could it be besides me? What's this kid trying to say? Aren't you happy unless you lick Byran? Are you upset? I leaned back in my chair, crossing my legs. Think about it. I used to follow Byran around every day. So, did he follow Byran around every day, too? Yeah. Now that I'm gone, he's the only one left by Byran's side. Logically, he should be happy. Then why is he? Fang Su stopped abruptly halfway through his sentence. Wait a second. He put down his beer can, his expression changing. He's messing with you because Byran has been looking for you recently. I didn't say a word. Byran has been chasing after you lately. Fang Su slapped his thigh. You stopped chasing her. And now she's chasing you. Gu Qingshan is getting anxious. Don't use the word pursue. She's just not used to it. Not used to what? Not used to not having people revolving around her. Fang Su looked at me. Have you really given up on her? I thought for a moment. Those words from my previous life echoed again at the moment of my death. If I could start over, I wouldn't choose you. Sort of. Gu Qingshan's comment was nothing more than nonsense. Something that would dissipate if left alone. But the next day, things took a turn. Someone started posting anonymously on the school forum, claiming that I won the award through connections, saying Professor Jiang Yuan was a distant relative of mine, and accusing my proposal of being plagiarized. The post was written with vivid details and even included several so-called evidence screenshots. Actually just a patchwork of similar-looking designs found online, but for ordinary students unfamiliar with architectural design, it did look somewhat convincing. The comment section was overwhelmingly filled with criticism directed at me. I knew without could a third-year undergraduate possibly win a national first prize. So, he's just a connected person. Disgusting. I suggest the school revoke his eligibility. Fong Su was so angry he paced back and forth in the dorm. Who the hell did this? It's obviously someone trying to screw you over. I sat on the chair flipping through the drawings in my hands. Very calm, because in my previous life, I had seen methods 100 times more vicious than this after spending decades in society. What kind of person haven't I seen? A few anonymous posts and you think you can bring me down. Childish. Fong Su, help me look into something. What is it? Check the posting times and IP locations of those anonymous posts. Although the school forum allows anonymous posting, there are login records in the back end. Do you know anyone from the computer science department? Fong Su's eyes lit up. Sure do. Wang Taijie, my high school classmate, is now in the technical department of the computer science department's student union. Ask him to help take a look. All right. Fong Su rushed out in a hurry. 2 hours later, he came back. His facial expression was very telling. Found it. He lowered his voice. The account that posted was just registered last week. The login IP came from a cafe off campus. And then, Wang Taijie dug a bit deeper. The registration email for that account shares the same phone number with another existing forum account. Who's? Gu Xingze's roommate, Lu Peixian. I put down my pen. Gu Xingze is indeed cautious, not showing up himself, but letting his roommate take the fall. Also, Fong Su took out a piece of paper from his pocket. I asked that art department junior, by the way. She said Lu Peixian was at the art building on the afternoon of the studio fire. She remembers clearly because Lu Peixian is from the sports department and never goes to the art building. The pieces of the puzzle are falling into place one by one. Gu Xingze has a spare key to buy Rant's studio. On the day of the fire, Gu Xingze's roommate appeared at the art building. After the fire, Gu Xingze was the first to step forward as a knight. Now someone is attacking me, accusing me of faking my award. And the mastermind behind this is also pointing to Gu Cheng's circle. This person has been scheming from beginning to end in my previous life. His scheming succeeded. By Rant's painting was accidentally burned. I rushed in and ruined both my hands, while he seized the opportunity to become the most reliable person by Rant's side. Yet I, the one who truly paid the price, didn't even receive a word of thanks. Brother Yen, what should we do now? I picked up my phone and organized the relevant information. 2 steps. First, I'll go directly to the dean and submit the entire process of my design. Every draft, every sketch, every piece of research data, and have the college issue an official statement to clarify the plagiarism allegations. And the second step. Second, you compile all the information about the fire and Lu Peiyan and hand it over to the police handling the arson case. You're not going to show up yourself. No need. I lean back in my chair. Let the people who should investigate do their job. Once the evidence is solid, he'll collapse on his own. But, Fong Su, in my past life, I paused and changed my words. Back then, I always liked rushing ahead, taking hits for others. In the end, I was the one who got hurt, and the credit was taken by someone else. I want the bullet to fly for a while this time. Fong Su stared at me for 3 seconds. You really look like a big shot today. Thanks. So, are you treating me to dinner? Next time for sure. I sighed. 31st time. Fong Su, you're still keeping count. Counting. The dean's efficiency was unexpectedly fast. When I laid out all 37 pages of the manuscript for the plan from the first version to the 7th, including every pencil sketch with my habitually dated notes and revisions neatly arranged on his desk, he flipped through them for 10 minutes. Then he looked up. I'll handle this. The next day, the college officially posted a statement on the forum. The content was simple. After verification, Lu Yan's competition entry was independently completed with full hand-drawn drafts and design processes verifiable. The so-called plagiarism is malicious rumor-mongering. The college reserves the right to hold the rumor-mongers accountable. The sentiment under the post took a complete 180 degrees turn. Facepalm. Facepalm. The manuscript has dates on it. How could this possibly be copied? Where are all the people who insulted him earlier? Come out and apologize. Feeling sorry for Lu Yan, silently doing things only to be slandered. Gu Qingze didn't post anything that day. His Moments feed still showed the last post. A long article titled Helping Bahrain Defend Her Rights. Someone tag him in the comments. What do you think about this? Classmate Gu Qingze. No reply. News also came from Fan Su. The arson case has made new progress. According to the clues submitted, the police retrieved surveillance footage from the art building Last Life. This footage had been ignored due to unclear images. But this life, since no one tampered with the scene, high-definition archives were obtained simultaneously during fire investigation evidence collection. In the footage, 20 minutes before the fire broke out, Liu Peixian entered through the side door of the art building, carrying a black plastic bag. 12 minutes later, he left empty-handed. What was in the plastic bag no longer needs explanation. The accelerant found by firefighters at the fire origin matched the type of lighter fluid previously purchased online by Liu Peixian. The purchase records are all here. This person's criminal methods are truly amateurish. If I hadn't messed up the evidence at the scene in my previous life, he wouldn't have gotten away at all. But in the end, not only did he escape in that past life, he even stayed around Bahrain with Gu Qingze for decades. How ironic. On the day Liu Peixian was taken away by the police, I was working on my course assignment in the study room. Fan Su came running to tip me off. He's been arrested. Liu Peixian confessed, said it was Gu Qingze who ordered it. I grunted, as expected. Can you give me some reaction? Fan Su looked exasperated. Gu Qingze had Bahrain's paintings burned. He had them burned, after chasing after Bahrain for so long. It turns out he was the mastermind behind it all. How absurd is that? What's so absurd about it? I put down the purpose of him burning the painting was to make Bahrain fail, then step in and play the hero, destroying someone's best work and then appearing as the savior. This is 100 times more effective than pursuing it directly. Fang Su's mouth was wide open as if he could fit an egg inside. How come your analysis sounds like you've read the script? Because I really have seen it. The script from a past life. The script of an entire lifetime. After the news spread, the whole school was shocked. Gu Qingze, star of the art department, a wealthy second-generation heir from a family that runs an art gallery. Bahrain's closest friend and protector was actually the mastermind behind the arson case. What's the big deal about a handsome persona crumbling in just 3 seconds? He was handsome for 3 years, then crashed to the core of the earth in a single second. The titles of the forum posts were more sensational than the last. Shocking. Suitor hires someone to burn Crush's paintings just to play the knight. Gu Qingze, I burned your paintings for your own good. The extreme end of being love-struck is becoming an arsonist. The comment section is beyond exploding. It was simply a nuclear explosion. Gu Qingze cleared all his social media updates that night. His father rushed over from the provincial capital overnight. But in this kind of situation, money couldn't help anymore. Arson. Solid evidence. Liu Peixian testified. Surveillance footage plus purchase records. Airtight case. I didn't see with my own eyes how Bahrain reacted when he learned the truth. It was Fang Su who relayed the story. She was in the counselor's office at the time and after hearing it. She froze for about 10 seconds. Then, without saying a word, she stood up and left, ignored everyone, went straight back to the dorm. I lowered my head and continued reading. Bahrain is a smart person. She must have figured out a lot of things in those 10 seconds. For example, the accident she thought it wasn't an accident. For example, the friend she thought she had wasn't a friend. For example, the person she thought was unimportant was actually the only one who treated her well without any ulterior motives. But what does it matter if she realizes it now? She had already realized it in her previous life. On her deathbed, in her final moments. It's too late. Everything is too late. In the evening, I went to the cafeteria alone to eat. Just as I picked up my bowl, a figure sat down opposite me. Bahrain. Her eyes were red and swollen, but there were no traces of tears. She must have finished crying before coming. Lu Yen. MHM. You knew all along. Not a question. A statement. You told me that day. Don't give the key to just anyone. You knew even back then. I'm just reminding you to be careful. You can't fool me. Her voice was soft, but firm. You've changed. It's not as simple as not liking me anymore. You've seen through something. I held the bowl, saying nothing. Lu Yen, what exactly have you been through? Been through what? Been 2 decades spent with you. I went through losing my hands for you. I went through giving up everything for you. I went through those words you said before you died. I haven't been through anything. I took a sip of the soup. It's just growing up. Byran looked at me, her lips moving slightly. After a long while, she said something that surprised me. I'm sorry. I raised my eyes. Before, you were so good to me, and I never really cared. I thought you'd always be there. I took your efforts for granted. Her fingers twisted the napkin on the table, almost tearing it apart. Only after you were gone did I realize. Byran. I interrupt her. You don't need to say sorry. She was taken aback. You didn't do anything wrong. You just don't like me enough. That's not a mistake. But one person showing kindness to another shouldn't depend on the other's return. My kindness towards you in the past was my choice. Your lack of response is your right. I put down the bowl. But I also have the right not to choose now. People come and go in the cafeteria. The sound of dishes clinking. The sound of chairs dragging on the floor. Byran sat there, motionless. After a long while, she whispered, "What if I want to choose you now?" I looked at her. The words I waited a lifetime for in my past life. A lifetime. When it finally rained, there was no ecstasy, no excitement in my heart, only a strange sense of calm. Byran. You want to choose me now not because you like me. It's because you've lost Gu Qingsha, lost the painting, lost everything you thought you had. And you're panicking. Her body stiffened slightly. It's not me you need. What you need is someone stable. Someone who won't betray you. I happened to be that person before. But I stood up. I don't want to be your happen to be anymore. Picking up the tray. I took it to the recycling station. When I walked out of the cafeteria, started to get windy outside. It was quite chilly. I put my hands in my pockets. I used to always like to keep my hands out, help her carry things, help her open doors, help her hold an umbrella. Now, hands in pockets are just fine, warm. In the days that followed, I became completely swamped. Winning first prize in the Dream Builder Cup brought me quite a few tangible benefits. 2 internship offers from design firms, a direct recommendation for Professor Jiang Yuan's graduate program, and an opportunity to attend the International Young Architects Forum. All of these were things I wouldn't have dared to dream of in my previous life. What was I doing in my past life? Waxing the frame of Byran's painting, helping Byran arrange the venue for her art exhibition, picking out her favorite yogurt at the supermarket, the low-sugar, strawberry-flavored kind with a rabbit printed on the bottle. Is it ridiculous? It is ridiculous and also tragic. Fan Su occasionally brings me meals when he sees me spending all my time in the studio. Yeah. He actually started bringing me meals. You can't just work without eating, right? Do you know about stomach problems? He put the lunchbox down on my desk. I glanced at him. Fan Su. When are you finally going to treat me to a meal? Isn't this the meal you're currently eating that I brought you? This was bought from the cafeteria. You spent $8. What's wrong with $8? $8 is still money. It's also my feelings for you. All right then. Gu Qingsha's matter reached a final conclusion a week later. He was expelled from school. Lu Peixian was placed under criminal detention. Gu Qingsha's father tried to settle the matter with money, but Byran unexpectedly called the police. Formal. It wasn't the kind of rights protection that Gu Qingza had arranged for her, but rather she went to the police station herself to give a statement and filed a lawsuit as the victim. She posted a very short message on social media. Thank you to everyone who cares about me. My painting was destroyed, but I still have my hands, and I will paint again. Then she closed the comment section. Fang Su showed me this post. She said, I still have hands. I fell silent for a moment. Yes, she still has hands. The me from my previous life. I don't have them anymore. I don't know if Byun thought of something. Maybe she was just stating an objective fact. Maybe not. It doesn't matter anymore. Spring has passed, and summer has arrived. I got straight A's in my course design. Professor Jiang Yuan's direct recommendation letter has been sent out. My daily routine has become very regular. I go for a run in the morning, attend classes in the morning, work on projects in the afternoon, and read books in the library at night. Occasionally, I go for barbecue with Fong Su. Sometimes I walk alone on the playground. Life has become very quiet, but not the kind of quiet that's empty. It's full. Fong Su said I've changed. He said I used to be like a ball of fire, burning everything around me, and after burning out, I would just go out. Now I'm like a stone, steadily standing there. Who comes, comes. Who leaves, leaves. Neither chase nor run away. Will you find a girlfriend like this? He asked from the top bunk. Worried. What's it to you? I'm just worried about women all over the world. People like you who don't get into relationships are wasting national resources. What about you? Me. I'm waiting for a girl I'm destined to meet. How long have you been waiting? 21st year. Keep waiting. Why have your words become so sharp? Graduation season arrived quickly. My graduation project received an outstanding grade. On the day of the defense, Professor Jiang Yuan was present in person, smiling from ear to ear the entire time. One of the best students I've ever taught. He said to the defense committee, one of them, you're being modest. I think it's the best. After the defense, I ran into Bai Ran at the entrance of the teaching building. She also came to attend the graduation defense. Her graduation project, 6 brand new oil paintings, was displayed in the exhibition hall of the art building. I didn't go to see it, but I heard the paintings were excellent, even better than the ones that were burned before. Those who have experienced the trials of fire always have something more in their writing. Lu Yen, do you have time? I'd like to invite you to see my art exhibition. I glanced at my watch. Fong Su was still waiting for me in the cafeteria. Another day, when, uncertain, she nodded, didn't press further. The previous Bai Ran wouldn't have pressed further, because she knew I would take the initiative. Bai Ran isn't asking further now either, but the reason is different. She is learning not to insist. I took a few steps, then suddenly stopped. Bai Ran, what color palette did you use for your new painting? She paused for a moment, something flashing in her eyes. You'll see when you come. I smiled. Okay, this isn't a promise, nor is it a refusal, just a simple okay. Maybe one day when I pass by the art building, I'll go in and take a look. Maybe not. It doesn't matter anymore. What matters is I'm standing here, hands in my pockets, feet planted on the ground. The wind blew in from the playground, carrying the scent of grass and the noise from the basketball court in the distance. What was I thinking about at the moment of my death in my previous life? I was thinking about my useless hands. I was thinking about the blueprints that were never finished. Thinking about Bai Ran's last words. In this life, I don't need to think anymore. The blueprint is complete. Got the award. As for the meal Fong Su promised me, although he still hasn't treated me to it, he started bringing me box lunches worth 8 yuan to some extent. Counts as progress. On graduation day, Fong Su finally fulfilled his promise. He treated me to a barbecue at the cheapest place by the school gate. We ordered 2 skewers of meat, a plate of peanuts, and 2 bottles of beer. Bro Sien. The best decision I made in my 4 years of college was being your roommate. Cut the crap. Really, you've made me understand the truth. What truth? Regarding treating others to meals. If you wait until graduation, you only need to do it once. Fan Su. Let's not be roommates in the next life. It's too unfair. He laughed. I laughed, too. The beer bottles clinked together with a crisp sound. Dewdrops formed on the glass bottles, sliding down between my fingers. Cool and refreshing. Pretty good. These hands. This lifetime. All pretty good. Hey, could you please rate this story in the comments section? Use a 10-point scale, please. And if you like this kind of content, don't forget to follow.